Have you ever wondered how one day can change the course of history? Today, we delve into a day that remains etched in the memory of millions, September 11th, 2001, a day that, in its terrifying spectacle, altered the trajectory of the world we live in. Picture a typical Tuesday morning in the United States. The eastern seaboard is waking up, people are rushing to work, children are heading to school, flights are taking off. It's a day like any other, a day of apparent normalcy. But the peace would be shattered, the world would be shocked, and this day would forever be marked as one of infamy. 4 commercial planes took off that morning, loaded with passengers, crew, and fuel for cross-country flights. The unsuspecting travelers had no idea that their planes would be turned into devastating weapons by 19 men who had hijacked the aircraft. The planes, originally destined for the West Coast, were instead redirected to targets that symbolized the power and prosperity of the United States. The North and South Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City, a bustling hub of global finance and trade, were hit in quick succession. The Pentagon, the heart of the U.S. military, was also struck. The 4th plane, United Airlines Flight 93, crashed into a field in Pennsylvania, its intended target thought to be either the White House or the Capitol building. The passengers on that flight had learned of the other attacks and bravely fought their hijackers, preventing further destruction. In a matter of hours, these attacks would claim the lives of nearly 3,000 people, leaving a nation and a world in shock, and marking the beginning of a new era in global politics, security, and society. It was a day that saw ordinary people become heroes, a day that demonstrated the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable horror. September 11th began like any other day, but would end in a way that no one could have ever anticipated. It was truly the day that changed the world. As the morning progressed, a horrifying reality started to unfold. The tranquility of an ordinary Tuesday morning was shattered at 8:46 when American Airlines Flight 11, commandeered by terrorists, slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The impact instantly ignited a firestorm of jet fuel, causing panic and confusion as smoke billowed from the wounded skyscraper. 17 minutes later, as news outlets broadcasted the bewildering images live, and while emergency services were rushing towards the burning North Tower, another aircraft, United Airlines Flight 175, veered off its course. In an act of unimaginable terror, it plowed into the South Tower, causing a second explosion that sent shockwaves around the world. Both towers, once symbols of American prosperity, now stood ablaze, scarred by the horrific acts of terror. But the nightmare was far from over. At 9:37, another hijacked plane, American Airlines Flight 77, targeted the heart of American defense, the Pentagon. The impact resulted in a massive explosion, causing a section of the iconic building to collapse. Meanwhile, the passengers of United Airlines Flight 93, having learned of the earlier attacks, made a brave attempt to regain control from the hijackers. Their heroic efforts culminated in the plane crashing into a field in Pennsylvania, avoiding further destruction to human life on the ground. Each attack, each explosion, and each loss of life was a blow that reverberated across the globe, turning a bright September morning into a dark day of devastation. The world stood still as we collectively held our breath, anxiously watching the events unfold, praying for the safety of those caught in this unthinkable tragedy. Within a span of 102 minutes, the world watched in horror as the unimaginable happened. The immediate aftermath of the attacks was a scene of chaos and confusion. As the dust began to settle, the true scale of the devastation was laid bare. The mighty Twin Towers, once standing tall as symbols of America's economic prowess, had crumbled to the ground, leaving nothing but a heap of smoldering ruins and a nation in shock. Emergency services were called into action, displaying courage and resilience in the face of unimaginable horror. Firefighters, police officers, and paramedics rushed toward the danger, navigating through debris and smoke, driven by a singular mission, to save as many lives as possible. Their bravery in those initial moments of crisis is a testament to the human capacity to rise above adversity. Meanwhile, survivors were being evacuated from the scene, their faces etched with disbelief and fear. They had witnessed the unthinkable, their lives forever marked by the events of that fateful day. Yet, amidst the terror, there were also stories of heroism, of strangers helping strangers, of a city coming together in its darkest hour. The nation watched in shock and uncertainty as news of the attack spread like wildfire, Questions buzzed in the air. Who was responsible? Why did this happen? Was there more to come? The usual bustle of American life came to a standstill as U.S. airspace was closed for the first time in history. A thick veil of fear hung over the land of the free. Yet even in those first hours of chaos and confusion, the resilience of the human spirit began to shine through. From the selfless actions of the first responders to the unity shown by the American people, there was a sense of determination. A resolve to rebuild, to heal, to remember, and to stand strong in the face of adversity. The immediate aftermath of the 9/11 attacks was a time of immense sorrow and fear, but it also marked the beginning of a journey of resilience, unity, and healing. In the midst of the devastation, the resilience of the human spirit started to shine through. The ripples of September 11th were felt far beyond the shores of America. Indeed, the echoes of the tragedy reverberated around the globe, touching hearts and shaking foundations in every corner of the world. The international community reacted with a mixture of shock, sorrow, and solidarity. From the streets of London to the alleys of Tokyo, from the piazzas of Rome to the bustling markets of Mumbai, a wave of grief washed over humanity. The world mourned with America, sharing in the pain, the loss, and the bewilderment. But it wasn't just a shared emotional response. The events of that fateful day had immediate and far-reaching impacts on international politics and security measures. Governments worldwide were forced to reassess their approach to terrorism, their security protocols, their foreign policies. The reality that terror could strike with such magnitude and audacity was a wake-up call to all nations. In the aftermath of the attacks, the world witnessed the birth of a new era in global security. The focus shifted from traditional warfare to combating terrorism. Airports, border controls, and public spaces were revamped with stringent security measures. Surveillance was ramped up, intelligence agencies were empowered, and nations were more connected than ever in their fight against terror. The ripples of September 11th also sparked the initiation of the War on Terror, a campaign against terrorism that saw the United States and its allies wage war in Afghanistan, Iraq, and beyond. This war reshaped the geopolitical landscape, with consequences that continue to reverberate today. Yet, amidst the turbulence, the world also saw an unprecedented level of international cooperation and unity. Nations stood shoulder to shoulder with the United States, condemning the attacks and pledging their support in the fight against terrorism. It was a testament to the collective resilience of humanity, a silver lining in the darkest of clouds. September 11th was not just an American tragedy but a global one. It was a day that changed the world, a day that continues to shape our present and our future. It was a stark reminder of our shared vulnerabilities but also our shared strength in the face of adversity. In the face of unspeakable tragedy, heroes emerged. Among the smoke and ashes, amidst the chaos and confusion, the true spirit of humanity shone through, illuminating the darkness with rays of compassion, courage, and selflessness. First responders, firefighters, police officers, paramedics, they rushed to the scene without a second thought for their own safety. They charged into the crumbling towers, climbed countless flights of stairs weighed down by heavy equipment, all in the desperate hope of saving lives. Many of them didn't make it back out. They sacrificed themselves, not as an act of duty, but as a testament to the human capacity for heroism in the face of calamity. Ordinary citizens, too, became extraordinary heroes that day. Office workers helping their colleagues, strangers aiding strangers, people risking their own lives to save others. There were those aboard United Flight 93 who fought back, knowing they were outnumbered and outmatched, but determined to prevent further destruction. Their actions, their bravery, their selflessness are the shining examples of humanity at its best. And then, there were those who were lost. Thousands of lives extinguished in an instant. Mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, friends, and colleagues. Each one of them unique, each one of them loved. They were people with dreams and hopes, with lives that were cut short far too soon. They were the innocent victims of an unimaginable atrocity, their stories forever etched in our memories. In the aftermath of the tragedy, as the dust settled and the world tried to comprehend the enormity of what had happened, these stories of heroism and sacrifice emerged. They served as a beacon of hope in a time of despair, a reminder of the strength of the human spirit and the power of unity and resilience. We remember September 11th, 2001 for the lives lost and the heroes born. They will never be forgotten.